projects like this debunk the notion that Nigeria is not the place for investment.
All is set for inauguration of multiple oil and gas producing plants by President Tinubu.
People should be able to apply from the comfort of their homes.
Nigeria to make visa processing seamless for friendly nations. Fake degrees, Minister of Education receives committee report.
We will implement everything that comes from the reports.
Hello, it's always a pleasure to have you join us on the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja Atutujani. Reading with me tonight from Lagos is Michael Olaleye. Musa Abubakar is here with me in our Abuja studios with business news. This broadcast is also being streamed live on our YouTube channel. You can watch the replay anytime and do follow us across all social media platforms for more. The policy commitment of the current administration to promote a cleaner environment through compressed natural gas to power vehicles and for power generation is gaining basis for sound footing, with multiple oil and gas producing plants now completed and ready for full operation. A team of State House correspondents visited the oil fields in Akwa Ibom, Delta and Imo states, which have been primed for President Bola Tinubu to inaugurate soon. Correspondent Musbao Dawahab reports on his visit to one of the oil fields in eastern Opolo local government area of Akwa Ibom state.
President Bola Tinubu emerged with a grand plan for Nigeria to join the League of Countries with large fleets of CNG-powered vehicles. The target of 1 million natural gas-powered vehicles by 2027 for some people certainly looks uncertain. But the administration is evidently banking on its game plan. And the plan is already manifesting in reality like this. Oil Mining Lease, OML-13, an upstream oil field in Akwa Ibom State, is one of such oil and gas projects envisioned and now emplaced by NNPCL and partners as the game changer.
These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The beginning of a fortune here is a this oil block. Well, I'm practically standing on one of the sources of Nigeria's wealth, the oil well of the OML-13, and these are the wellheads, otherwise known as Christmas trees, that produce crude oil to the production plants. And the oil and gas processing facility, with its strategic component, has the capacity to process 60,000 barrels of crude oil, and with these compressors, the plant can also produce 100 million scf of gas per day.
We have the capacity to serve the entire south-south area of CNG. We don't really have a problem with that.
The flow station is installed with 400,000 barrel storage capacity of crude oil. Already, the station has supplied about 47,000 barrels to the sea-going vessel for onward push to the floating storage vessel and then for shipment. And even at the pre-commissioning phase, the plant is already supplying CNG into the local markets.
For now, sometimes we fill about 10 to 12 trucks, and each truck takes about 300,000 in a day. Sometimes we load 20, depends on the number of trucks that comes. And each of the vehicle has about 8 tubes, and we take about 300.
Beyond the output capacity of the facility, equally important to the government in this project is the cleaner energy quest with zero-flare philosophy.
We don't intend to flare even a single 1 million scf of gas daily. We intend to reinject all the gas or commercialize all the gas from the assets.
In addition to these plants, the AHL gas processing plant 2, an expansion to the Kwale gas processing plant in Delta State, which now has 200 million scf of gas per day capacity, the Ano gas plant, an integrated 300 million scf of gas per day capacity, designed to process non-associated gas in Imo State, as well as the gas pipeline project to evacuate dry gas from the Anna Primary Treatment Facility, are all being prepared for inauguration.
Projects like this debunk the notion that Nigeria is not the place for investment. You can see for yourself, this is gas to power, this is gas for industries, this is delivering opportunity to the people of Nigeria. It's more LPG, it's consistent with the aspiration of crashing the price of LPG.
When inaugurated, the administration expects the project to increase gas supply to the domestic market by approximately 500 million scf per day, while also creating a better investment climate in the sector. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NTA News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, is now to represent President Bola Tinubu at the 2024 U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Dallas, Texas. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Stanley Okocha, indicates that Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was originally scheduled to represent the President, is unable to make the trip following a technical fault with his aircraft, forcing him to make a detour on the advice of the Presidential Air Fleet. The Vice President will carry on with other national duties. The high-profile summit, taking place at the K. Bailey Hutchison Convention Center, will bring together political and business leaders from across Africa, the United States, and other regions. It will feature high-level dialogue, networking sessions and plenary. The U.S.-Africa Business Summit aims to foster economic cooperation and explore investment opportunities between the United States and African countries. Meanwhile, the federal government says it is aware of false alarms being raised in some quarters, alleging discussions with some foreign countries on the siting of foreign military bases in the country. A statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, urges the public to totally disregard the report, describing it as false. The federal government, the statement indicates, is not in such discussions with any foreign country. Neither has it received, nor is it considering any proposals from any country on the establishment of foreign military bases in Nigeria. The Nigerian government already enjoys foreign cooperation in tackling ongoing security challenges, and the President remains committed to deepening these partnerships with the goal of achieving the national security objectives of the Renewed Hope Agenda, the statement adds. When young Nigerian females tell compelling stories of resilience and determination through their personal achievements in male-dominated spaces, they are considered inspiring and worthy of celebration. And this is exactly what Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu did when she received and celebrated the country's first female cadet to attend the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, England. Second Lieutenant Princess Owo in her office. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Meet Second Lieutenant Princess Owowo, a 23-year-old graduate of the Nigerian Defense Academy who just made history as the first female cadet in the country to attend the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, England. She is the toast of a proud nation after she recorded another feat as the first female Nigerian to be commissioned from the Royal Military Academy and earned the prestigious Sandhurst Medal for her extraordinary achievement on completion of her training. Commandant of the NTA, Kaduna, Major General John Ochai, who led her to the office of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, described the celebrant as a unique cadet who surpassed many records at the academy to secure admission at the RMA in Sandhurst, England.
Where she competed with males from other countries, like I mentioned earlier, United States, Canada, Australia, Pakistan, India. In that academy, gender is not given preference for anything. If you fail at any point, you'll be dropped. And all excelled and came out as one of the best.
For making the nation proud and opening the door for other women to dream, the celebrant got a standing ovation from Nigeria's First Lady.
You've definitely become a reference point in the army. And I want to thank the Nigerian Army for giving you that opportunity. You know, you've opened doors for other women so that they can look at them and say, okay, you know, even if they don't measure up, let's give her a trial.
Know that other young ladies we want also be part, and we'll have more of them.
Born on December 21, 2000 in Imo State, Second Lieutenant Princess Owowo started her primary education at Army Demonstration School, Ojo, Lagos, in 2003 and gained admission into the NTA Kaduna as a member of the 70 regular course to study biological sciences. She says her focus is now on the intelligence community, where she is poised to serve her fatherland.
As you can see, I'm now in the intelligence corps. I'll go through my courses, subsequent courses, and try my best to deliver what I can.
On the request of Nigeria's First Lady, she is expected to participate as a panelist at a program being organized to honor Nigerian youths at the first year anniversary of the current administration on the 26th of this month. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Princess is the 190th Nigerian to graduate from Sandhurst and indeed the first among equals. Congratulations. Now to health. Nigeria has convened a national dialogue on pandemic fund application. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pati, says it is part of efforts to strengthen the ability to prevent, prepare for and respond to disease outbreaks which could lead to pandemics. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
With Nigeria, like many nations globally, grappling with the socio-economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, ensuring that allocated funds are used efficiently and effectively has become paramount. The gathering here is with a shared commitment to foster transparency, collaboration, strategize and ensure Nigeria's application for the $25 million pandemic fund is effectively used in addressing national needs.
This dialogue serves as a platform for a meaningful exchange to refine strategies so that our national priorities will be clearly defined.
And so in the context of the pandemic fund, we thought that the application that Nigeria put forth should truly reflect that intersectorality that is necessary to safeguard our nation's health security and that strengthen national systems.
United in their quest for transparency and accountability, implementing partners express commitment to address challenges and ensure resources are utilized to safeguard public health and mitigate the impact of future health emergencies.
This dialogue will open us up to more and more of those opportunities to see where are the loopholes and what we need to do.
Really looking forward to understanding the priorities of Nigeria and how Gavi can directly support.
As we think of the pandemic fund application itself, it's also an opportunity to think about the fuller program for health security in the country.
Funding is important, and we want to work together to support NCDC to be the driver of these efforts.
At the end of the dialogue, Nigeria is expected to submit its application before May 17, 2024, which is the deadline. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Now to diplomatic relations. Nigeria is working to make its visa application process automated and seamless, particularly for citizens of friendly countries. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, gave the information while playing host to a delegation of the French government in Abuja. Victor Azul reports that the minister also engaged with the Technical Committee on Enhancement of Security in the North.
Developments in the Ministry of Interior are attracting the attention of the developed world. This time, it is the French government seeking closer ties with Nigeria in the area of migration and border security.
We can cooperate more efficiently on different aspects pertaining to migration, of course, the legal migration, which are essential for the cooperation between our countries. The question of the fight against traffic and human trafficking, especially, something on which we'd be interested to exchange with you.
It turns out an area of keen interest for the country, as the Minister of Interior informs his guests that Nigeria will also rejig its visa application process to smoothen the relationship.
Because we're working on simplifying the Nigerian visa process, and based on strictly on reciprocity, to be able to ensure also that the first line of clearance of our visa acquisition process is automated. Automated in essence that people should be able to apply from the comfort of their homes.
Tunji Ojo also received the Technical Committee on Enhancement of Security in the North, led by Major General Abdul Malik Jibril. The meeting behind closed door is to seek the minister's input before making recommendations to the president. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more. This is the network news on NTA. We're talking education now. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, has promised to collaborate with relevant agencies to cleanse the education sector of fraudulent practices. This was when he received the report of an interministerial investigative committee on degree certificate milling. Professor Mamman reiterated government's determination to rid both public and private institutions in the country of fake certificates, saying no government official implicated in the scandal would be spared.
We will implement everything that comes from the report. Not just unearthing people who are culpable, but systems review. We will very quickly take decisions. Those that have to go further, we will pass it further, for instance, to the Federal Executive Council.
Meanwhile, the minister also pledged to spearhead a profound transformation within Nigeria's education sector, aligning closely with government's strategic vision, particularly in skill development, to redefine the nation's educational landscape. This was when he equally received reports from two committees on assessment review of TET Fund Centers of Excellence in 12 Nigerian universities and the Advisory Committee on the TET Fund Skills Development Special Intervention. The National Examinations Council, NECO, is advocating an examination legislation in Nigeria which will ensure it further achieves the Council's mandate. This is arising from the pressing need to reinforce its role in maintaining integrity, credibility and fairness of examination processes nationwide. Olainka Ojo reports that this came to the fore at a retreat organized by NECO in conjunction with members of the National Assembly Committees on Basic and Secondary Education and Basic Examination Bodies.
Public examinations serve as a cornerstone of any robust education system, as they are the benchmark for students' achievement and a gateway to higher education. In Nigeria, the National Examinations Council plays a pivotal role in this regard, but not without the challenges of infrastructure, surge in candidates' enrollment, inadequate funding, examination malpractices, phishing and question paper leaks. It is to address these and other issues that the Council and other stakeholders are advocating the need for a comprehensive national examination law.
You have no option than to do that if you have to conform with international best practices, which is IT-driven.
With commitment and diligence, we can overcome the obstacles facing NECO's mandates and ensure that our examination legislation serves as a catalyst for positive change.
While making a case for an urgent review of education legislation in the country, Governor of Niger State, Umaru Mohammed Bago, says technological advancement and use of artificial intelligence can assist in speeding up the process.
Artificial intelligence has come to stay, so our laws must also be able to key in to this technological advancement.
The retreat dwelt on the topic, while NECO needs examination legislation in the conduct of examinations, with Professor Julius Ioveri as guest speaker.
These laws establish a standardized framework that ensures fairness, consistency, and the integrity of the assessment process.
Participants at the retreat also proposed that every school in Nigeria must write the national examination. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps says it is taking further steps to strengthen security and the safety of students. The Corps commander of the National Safe School Response Coordination Center, Hamid Abodurin, told a delegation of the leadership of Nigerian students that the Safe School Initiative is a carefully thought-out program to enhance security for both students and host communities against all forms of violence, including sexual harassment. Spokesperson of the Corps, Afolabi Babawale, equally hinted that the Corps is contemplating a sensitization program to train students on early warning security tips. The Presidency is urging the public to disregard claims by former Vice President and People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Kenneth Nanim reports.
A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, describes statement credited to the former Vice President on the project as fallacies and misleading, aimed at manipulating facts for his self-serving objective to discredit the current administration. Onanuga says President Bola Tinubu-led administration believes that every patriotic Nigerian, regardless of political differences, should work to promote the unity and economic well-being of the country, and not to delegitimize genuine efforts of encouraging local and foreign investments into the economy. The statement points out that, contrary to Atiku's claim, the Tinubu administration has within its first year attracted more than $20 billion into the economy, with Indian business leaders committing more than $14 billion in new investments, with a substantial part of this sum already in the country. It also cited foreign investment in Nigeria's stock market, which has increased from 18.12 billion naira in first quarter of 2023 to 93.37 billion naira in first quarter of 2024, an increase of 415%. President Tinubu's recent trip to the Netherlands, he says, got the Prime Minister Mark Rutte announcing a fresh $250 million investment by Dutch businesses in Nigeria. The statement equally expresses concern over former Vice President Atiku's accusation of conflict of interest in the award of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway to high-tech construction company, which he claimed is owned by the Chogri family because the president's son, Sheikh Tinubu, is a board member of CDK, a tiles manufacturing company based in Shagamu, Ogun State. The statement clarifies that Sheikh's membership of the board of CDK did not in any way conflict with high-tech construction company's work in Lagos-Calabar Coastal Superway, stating clearly that Sheikh Tinubu is a 38-year-old adult who has a right to do business and pursue his business interests in Nigeria and anywhere in the world within the limits of the law. The fact that his father is now the president of Nigeria, it says, does not disqualify him from pursuing legitimate business interests. To put the record straight, however, Sheikh joined the board of directors of CDK in 2018, more than 6 years ago, representing the interests of an investor company in which he has interests. Sheikh is not a board member because his father is a friend of the Chagoris. Information about owners and stakeholders of CDK is a matter of public record that can be openly accessed from the website of the Corporate Affairs Commission and the CDKs. The chairman of the CDK and the highest shareholder of the company is respected General T.Y. Danjuma, retired, and that Chogoris are minority stakeholders in the company, and only one member of the clan is on its 5-man board. The statement reminded Atiku Abubakar that having openly admitted forming Intels Nigeria with an Italian businessman when he was serving in the Nigeria Customs Service, which is a clear breach of Eastern Public Service regulations, he does not have the moral rectitude to accuse President Tinubu of conflict of interest in the award of contracts. The statement also notes that when Atiku was the vice president in Nigeria between 1999, the statement also notes that when Atiku was the vice president of Nigeria between 1999 to 2007, the statement also notes that when Atiku was the vice president of Nigeria between 1999 and 2007, he maintained his business links with Intels that won major port concession deals. This the presidency considers as an abuse of office. The statement says Atiku, as chairman of the National Council on Privatization, approved sales of more than 145 state-owned enterprises to his known friends and associates. Meanwhile, the Lagos-Calabar Highway, which was authorized by the Federal Executive Council, is an infrastructural project to galvanize the economy. The Tinubu administration, the statement explains, targets a $1 trillion economy in the next few years, with audacious economic programs and critical infrastructure projects in key sectors, with revenue rising in trillions, and the creation of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund, which is poised to raise over 20 trillion naira this year alone. The $1 trillion economy is realizable.
Now to road matters. The Federal Road Safety Corps says it is reviewing the provision of stiffer penalties to serve as a deterrent to road traffic violators. The Corps Marshal, Dauda Alibiu, reaffirmed this in an exclusive interview with Olajide Bello on recent strategies to curtail the menace.
These are not immigrants of the Japa syndrome, but passengers apprehended for overloading of goods and passengers by officers and men of the Federal Road Safety Corps traveling from one part of the country to the other. This is an example of how the journey usually ends. This ugly incident that now dots the landscape of major highways in the country necessitated the proactiveness of the Federal Road Safety Corps to come up with a joint task force approach to tackle the hydra-headed monster.
Yes, over time we noticed, and it's practical, that these trailers and trucks that carried goods, animals, and then carried human passengers along. Whenever they have a crash, we have a high fatality. That is, we have so many deaths and so many injuries.
That's not all, as the Corps is imposing payment of compensation to victims of road traffic crashes and also advocating comprehensive insurance for commercial motorists.
Though we have few cases where even the drivers too die, but in most cases they escape unhurt, and then and they just walk away, no punishment. So we just felt that this cannot continue. Drivers that carry people in such a manner, they need to face the justice, and then we felt that fines, penalty is not enough. Yes, they should be jailed. They should go to jail. I think jailing them will be very effective deterrence to them when they come out, and then to others who may have the intention of committing the same offense.
The Corps Marshal says, always remember, drive slower to live longer. Drive slowly, someone is waiting at home. Stop driving fast before accident stops you. And above all, obey traffic rules to avoid accident. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Above all, obey traffic rules. Let's now join Michael Olaleye in Lagos for more reports. Michael.
Good to see you, Najatu. Women possess unique attributes to contribute their quota to the development of any industry, maritime domain inclusive, and the need to be given equal opportunity in all areas is paramount. This was re-echoed by speakers at the official unveiling of Maritime Code of Practice for Women in Maritime Security in Lagos. Dana Jali reports.
These women seafarers and maritime security personnel are calling for more inclusivity, gender equality, and protection of females in the maritime industry. The unveiling of the Code of Conduct, which contains principles that should guide decision makers in the maritime space, preserve, promote the welfare and advancement of women, mark a new era for women in the industry.
The Maritime Code of Practice we unveil is more than a document. It is a commitment to change, a beacon guiding us towards a future.
Maritime transport threats, armed robbery, marine pollution, port security, illegal maritime trade, and illegal interstate trade is going to be stopped.
Acting Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research, Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Accra, Ghana, commended the federal government of Nigeria for the execution of the Deep Blue project, while noting that the Code of Conduct is in line with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, which urges all actors to increase the participation of women and incorporate gender perspectives in all peace and security efforts.
In seeking to correct such imbalance in policy implementation, the KAIPTC, through a consultative process, has drawn on the principles of 1325 to distill a set of guiding principles for promoting women in the maritime domain.
The formal launch of Maritime Code of Practice for Women is expected to be performed in 7 different African countries in Lagos, Diana, Ajale, NTA News.
The federal government's continued support in widening the scope of environmentally friendly innovations among small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria is gathering momentum as young Nigerians have started putting forward inventions that solve challenges not only within their immediate environment but with green energy templates. Larry Bilei reports.
Small and medium-scale enterprises is the lifeline of any nation's economy. This is why nations across the globe pays maximum attention to this sector, and Nigeria is no exception. Reasons for the attention is that this sector has the largest capacity for employment and creating new pathways to economic development. The federal government, in hindsight, has now based its support for small and medium-scale enterprises innovations on renewable energy as demand for power generation and resources kept increasing in the country. This support is not only based on United Nations template on environmental friendly innovations, it is also in line with the Paris Accord.
Clean tech is about technologies that are environmental friendly. We are all aware of issues in climate change and how it impacts on economies of the world.
The federal government support is multifaceted, cutting across transport, agriculture, water, waste and energy generation, and some Nigerians are already on board this platform.
We capture energy from the grid or the panels from the sun or generator or any other means and it stores it for later use, but we are focused more on renewable energy, which is obviously the sun.
There are businesses that you can do that can also help in solving our issue of climate change and also reducing our carbon footprint.
The vision of the federal government is basically not only to build a solid foundation for small and medium-scale enterprises in the country, but for these entrepreneurs to create an economic ecosystem based on renewable energy while doing so. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos Network News.
Thanks for being there. Let's now bring you up to speed with business development. West African Institute workshop. The Central Bank of Nigeria is partnering the Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFEM, to equip member countries to address global challenges affecting the West African region. To this end, a regional workshop is organized to train participants on project management, monitoring and evaluation in Abuja.
And as government and organizations assess, design, and implement crucial interventions, an important component of project management implementation that requires due attention is the monitoring and evaluation design.
We want to build their capacity to increase their knowledge of monitoring and evaluation and implementation of projects, especially in the result-based format, so that they can detect any early warning that is required in terms of project implementation, and ensure that projects are well implemented in all our countries.
Market, the equities market closed first trading day of the week on a bearish note as investors lose 499.7 billion naira. The all-share index fell by 0.89% to close at 98,703.68 basis point. A total of 421.7 million shares valued at 8.9 billion naira exchange hands in 10,624 deals. Its market capitalization ended the session at 55.8 trillion naira. Cornerstone Insurance Company led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira 98 kobo per share, followed by Guinea Insurance, Wando, and Wema Bank. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of 98.2 million traded shares, followed by United Bank for Africa, Guarantee Trust Holding, and Universal Insurance Company. That's a quick look at business news. Najatu is back to you.
Thank you, Musa. Electricity distribution companies in the country have announced a downward review of tariff for Band A feeders to 206 naira 80 kobo kilowatt per hour, as against 225 naira. The new tariff takes effect from today, May 6, 2024. But tariff for bands B, C, D and E remain unchanged. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission had directed the distribution companies to reduce the tariff of their Band A feeders in view of the current reduction in foreign exchange, which is one of the components considered before the tariff increase in April. The tariff for Band A customers, which was earlier increased from 68 naira due to rise in inflation, exchange rate and increase in price of gas, is to enable distribution companies recover sufficient revenue and incentive investment in the sector. Stay tuned for more reports after. In sports tonight, Remo Stars breathed down on league leaders Enugu Rangers after a 2-1 comeback win over Rivers United. Plus, West United part ways with Moyes as the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, on behalf of the Federal Executive Council, mourns the death of former Minister of State for Education, Olorogun Kenneth Gbagi, aged 62. Gbagi was appointed Minister of State for Education during the tenure of former President Goodluck Jonathan, where he contributed immensely to the development of basic and secondary sectors such as the Almajiri education program. Senator Akume describes the late Gbagi as a quintessential politician, criminologist and great industrialist whose indelible mark in the development of Nigeria's politics, education, security and economy will outlive him and also serve as a reference point for posterity. The SGF commiserates with the government and people of Delta State, his immediate family, praying God to grant the soul of the departed eternal rest. And let's check out the